Resistance memo on being denied, found at sheltering tree research point 3. There are days when I would just love to wake up to a message thanking me for my application, but informing me that my project is not being chosen for funding again. Impersonal, distant, not remotely interested in how I will defend my position in the faculty next semester. Read, delete, start writing a new application, the circle of life in academia. Over here on Pandora, that denial assumes considerably more concrete forms, and I do not mean Tremaine physically showing me an empty box of spare scanner parts and telling me to go scavenge an RDA outpost if I need more. In brackets, he was more polite than that. What I mean is, the no comes wrapped around a bullet fired at you by people you might have shared a cafeteria with a few weeks ago. I knew Pandora would be adventurous when I signed on, but this is a bit beyond all that. Didn't think I'd miss trying to reformulate my thesis for some being counter in 250 words or less, but here we are. My new criteria for missives, as it turns out, is that they aren't missiles. Fair enough.
Let's stay watchful. Enjoy. Come on, Storm. Let's ride. Ha!
Alex's personal log, a precarious encounter, found at Rolling Slopes Research Point 3. It took us the blink of an eye to start testing the benevolence of our hosts. While in the process of taking preliminary soil samples, one of our teams stumbled upon nothing short of a Zakru skeleton, which they then proceeded to partially unearth. I raced to the site just in time to witness the arrival of Menang Tahik of the Zeswa. She acknowledged us silently before squatting down by the bones for some 5 minutes, resting her hands on them while addressing them quietly. Some of it sounded quite lyrical in tone. Menang then rose and addressed us. She conveyed that as far as they were concerned, we might as well have dug up one of the Zeswa ancestors. Her tone was rather like one you'd direct at ignorant children. This was richly deserved. Having received my apologies and the assurances that the bones would be reburied, Menang took a moment to look at each one of us individually before departing. I continued to feel her gaze on me now. I've had the sampling site relocated and made sure to issue a new protocol in case of further discoveries of this nature. Okay. Okay. Resistance memo on Banshee observation, found at Sheltering Tree Research Point 1. Just to be clear, I enjoy both the King Lore and the Clouded Forest. It's just that endless canopy and constant mists aren't the best for observing flying species in general. Getting this chance to set up a little pop-up research point in the plains is just what the doctor ordered. In brackets, that's PhD, not MD. We've had plenty of time to observe the Banshees at the camps, but I'd like to propose that while the Na'vi let them roam free a lot, the behaviour of a bonded Banshee differs from that of a wild one. Now, I'll be the first to admit it's not easy to tell these two sorts apart. Since the Na'vi wouldn't take well to us tagging Banshees, it comes down to visual recognition. Luckily, it's something you develop an eye for after a while and start to pick up on the little differences in coloration. I've created a healthy database of the various individuals now. It'll grow with this new observation point and already makes me wish I'd been a little more systematic with the naming to start with. Still, when a Banshee looks like a Craig, I'm going to call it a Craig. Not entirely sure what that means, but anyway. That'll do. Phew, bless me. That's... Resistance Personal Log 17, driving with a Natvi, found at Rolling Slopes Research Point 2. Writing this down in an effort to get my pulse back under 200. We were driving over to the site when out of nowhere a group of Zeswa's youths on dire horses crested a hill and came right for us. My Natvi comprehension isn't great, so I had no idea what their cries and hoots were about, just that I was real close to needing a fresh pair of briefs. Unlucky, pal. Wasn't until they drew along us that I saw the smiles, managed to smile back while figuring that maybe I wasn't going to die today after all. They were just looking for a race, kids everywhere, right? We did try to give them that race too, but the truck just wasn't built for speed. They thought we were pretty funny though, and after running literal rings around us, headed off to do whatever young Natvi do. I've never seen this kind of spontaneous play between humans and Natvi before, but I hope there'll be more of it with the games. Just maybe with a little more warning. Fair point. Alright. Ribboned rocks. What's that all about?
You are always welcome among the Zeswa.
Guessing Ribbon Rocks is a camp. Either way, we can now fast travel to it. Fantastic. Not too harsh really about the Velsprig. Let's see what this is all about. Might as well do this one because we're right next to it. If it's out the way, then I don't really want to do it. But if it's right in front of me, then I might as well. That makes sense, guys. Alright, so... I cannot fast travel while falling. I was gonna say that. Alright. Right, let's go for this Tarshu sapling. The fuck was that noise, man? The fuck are you making that noise for? Alright. I think it's pretty cool how they've done these research facilities in this DLC, where you can literally have other ways of finding, you know, like at least a mythic loot or exquisite. I think it is on here. It's basically mythic version of Fortnite. I just think it's unique that we have got these kind of extra missions. Alright. Focus. Canal. Sensitive much? Alright.
Okay, Storm. Eyes open.
Hey, I just killed you. Alright, you want to do that game? Try an assault rifle. That's it, you stay in your glitch position, pal. I'll take that as a W. Right, where do I need to head? All for a fucking bell spree, bro. Come on now.
Come on, Storm. Let's ride.
Well, okay. Best where we want to head to, isn't it? The fuck was that all about, guys? Leaving respawnable area? Or playable area, even? No idea what that was about, to be honest, guys, but... let's try again.
Down there? Careful. Here we go!
Okay, another skill point. Take it. The old RDA facility, yes? Damn.
Okay, Storm. Eyes open.
Just wonder where the fucking char-siu sapling was, guys. Okay, can't go that way. That must not be an area. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Majestic silhouettes against the Pandoran skies. Shaped by the wind. Greeting travelers. A welcome resting spot for Ikran and Na'vi alike. I wonder whose footsteps I follow in. Were they uncertain and looking for hope? Or did they stride toward the horizon, undaunted? The more I read the land, the deeper my connection becomes. To Pandora, to Ewa, and to the Sarentu travelers who came before me. These places are clear in my mind now, offering me comfort and showing the way. I can feel the stories they hold. You're hungry, huh?
Sarentu. I bet I could teach you a few things.
I'm hoping to revive a lost Sarentu tradition. A challenge. I hear you might enjoy that.
A challenge? What kind? Will there be spotting?
It's a great test of skills to, prove one's worth. And, shine light on skills we take for granted in public. It could be intimidating.
Intimidating. You speak to a Zeswa. We tame the wind and laugh at the storm. Your contest does not scare me. How does it work?
Well, the, participants all show up and you compete. In a challenge of your choosing.
My own event for the games? Of course. I will make sure this great Sarentu tradition can live again. Tell people I will be ready for them. I will enjoy wrestling their faces into the dirt. I wonder who will be brave enough to compete.
A dancer's mask is their true face.
Another field lab online. This is making a huge difference to our understanding of this region. I hate to keep asking, but could you spare anything to help us set up research points here too?
I'll see what I can do. Come on, Storm. Let's ride. Yo, yo, yo! Here we go!
Resistance Memo, the Anti-Gremlin, found at Rolling Slopes Research Point 1. Way back in the day, pilots would blame gremlins whenever something went wrong with their planes. The idea spread and folks started using it for any kind of machine malfunction, even for computers once those came around. Now obviously it's just a bit of fun, but I'll tell you, we've got an anti-gremlin running around here. Loose wires wrapped up, gunked up circuit boards cleaned, and it's not just that. There's improvements to basic RDA designs upgraded with little hacks and workarounds. Not all of them something that would pass inspection back home, but over here they do the job without setting the HQ on fire, and that's a-okay with me. Funnily enough, whenever I discover one of those little upgrades, there's a certain nat fee hanging around. Fiddling with this cap, looking real focused on something that's totally not me evaluating the work. He does seem mighty pleased though whenever I note to no one in particular about the fix. I found and gets flustered in the funniest way if I ask him to come over and give his opinions. So I don't really know what people call an anti-gremlin, but I'll guess this one's called Talon. Bit savage, don't you think?
Enjoy. Okay, Storm. Eyes open.
I would like to see the
Ha!
Resistance memo, why are the games found at Lofty Glade Research Point 1? With the events only now beginning, I find myself considering the motivators for these games. On Earth, the Olympics began in ancient Greece as part of a religious celebration before evolving into a spectacle and a form of extended diplomacy. On Pandora, the clans do not generally claim territory or set borders, nor does this gathering have religious overtones. Still, it has brought not only clan leadership but also many of these regular members to mingle here. It is easy to observe the exchange of skills and ideas, best exemplified, I think, by dance fighting. Observe two contestants, Aranahe and Zeswa, taking measures of each other in the ring before moving aside to discuss the bout. They were clearly comparing their individual moves and demonstrating them in slow motion. Apparently it is quite acceptable to mix the styles as well, as the Zeswa then used one of the Aranahe's moves against another opponent, taking them by surprise. I would expect this manner of exchange to run all through the games, but do not imply it is their sole motivator. Everyone is clearly enjoying the athleticism and the festive atmosphere, making for fertile ground for friendships and deeper connections to be formed. Amazing. Well, that avatar was a bit possessed, wasn't he? Resistance memo Zachary feeding sites as predictors of migration paths found at Sheltering Tree Research Point 2. The Zachary is one of the most fascinating animals out here in the plains. While they are completely unafraid of humans, the Zeswa can be quite protective of them. In the interest of learning more about the Zachary without imposing ourselves on anyone or anything, we're attempting a workaround by focusing on the environment from which they derive their nourishment, the soil. We found what we believe to have been a Zachary feeding site, and thus the location of an old Zeswa camp, possibly from 2 generations ago. The primary information is a little shaky, as the Zeswa do not seem prone to nostalgia over old campsites. In brackets, or perhaps our language skills have failed us again. We have identified the location of an old fire pit to corroborate the stories though, and will now focus on sampling the soil to determine the state of the fungal colonies. We will hopefully be able to compare our findings to those from a current feeding site to see how much they differ in richness and maturity. This is just the beginning, but if a pattern can be established, it could provide us with the means to predict the paths of Zachary migrations for further study, even for several cycles to come. Give me a second, guys. Alright.
Come on, Storm. Let's ride.
Not entirely sure how to open them. Okay. Alright, we carry on. Something here. So I just want to open this area up, guys. Look how beautiful this actually looks, man.
Another wanderer? It's nice, right? Looks good on you. Enjoy.
Resistance memo, leisure or death, found at Valley View research point 2. The Romans were onto something with that nomen est omen, in brackets the name is a sign business. I'm referring to the tranquility bulb, of course. The name paints a clear picture in one's mind, one very much influenced by the observation of the Na'vi occasionally bathing in the waters of this giant bowl-like plant. But even as the Na'vi enjoys the plant, the name for it conjures different images altogether. Speikakatiu, the drowner. The same tendrils that serve to tickle Na'vi feet even gently exfoliating their skin, will drag other creatures down to the bottom of the bowl, where they will be drowned and gradually consumed by the plants. Savage. No wonder you see Na'vi first take a thorough look before going for a dip. The plant has never been observed to attack Na'vi or some of the other creatures that enjoys its waters, but naturally this hospitality is not extended to all. This ability to pick and choose prey, which puts the tranquility bulb miles beyond the simple Venus flytrap, will be at the heart of our research. We may even explore its reactions to humans, and by we I mean myself. A winch will be on standby. A winch will be on standby. Yeah.
Come on, Storm. Let's ride.
Resistance memo bush pods as observation posts. Found in the Valley View Field Lab. Having used bush pods as shelter from the elements on some of our outings, I've noticed that they are also pretty effective at disguising us from the local wildlife. Even when we've been upwind of some bladeheads, they've seemed calmer than they'd normally be in our presence. Now the question becomes, does the bush pod produce a scent that is masking or at least dampening ours? This would be huge if true, because our current scent masking experiments have pretty much run out of volunteers. I can't really say I blame our colleagues for their reluctance to save on precious lab time. We've been applying the unprocessed pulp and juices of local plants to the subjects to mask their scent. Unfortunately, we've only been able to establish that it is the strongest smelling ones that produce the most vivid rashes when they're allowed prolonged contact with human skin. Also, they attract insects, and considering their size here, that can become a life-threatening scenario. The potential opportunity to observe wildlife without the need for a 20-pound fly swatter is something we should definitely be investing in. I'll be drafting up a proper research proposition soon.
Be it. My data shows that all field labs in this region are now powered up. Priya will be ecstatic.
How are the research points coming along?
Very nicely, I must say. We're trying to be as unobtrusive as possible. A few more, and we'll have excellent vantage points for our research.
I'll see what I can find.
I'm extremely pleased to report that we are up and running across the plains. The proximity of the research points is really helping with the data signals. Thank you for all your help. This has made a real difference.
I'm glad I could help.
Some of the flora up here is unlike anything I've ever seen in the plains. Oh, Ajay would have loved this.
Trophy earned resistance researcher. I will take that. All right.
Come on, Storm. Let's ride.
Resistance memo on Pandoran diversity found at Valley View Research Point 3. The diversity of Pandoran flora just blows my mind. It's almost like if you're ready to pull your boots on and get out there, you can name a new plant or animal by lunchtime. Sure, sometimes it's a new variety of an already indexed find, but hello, more alien plants, I'll take it. Now the basic rules governing adaptation do match up with those on Earth, but the environmental factors here can lead to some very divergent results. Take these fungal plates for example. We found them growing on the lower trunks of stairwood trees, yet here they've just rooted themselves to the cliffside, larger yet as sturdy as their forest cousins. They're clearly not going hungry despite their rocky seat. This adaptation on a mad scale, and its origins are a puzzle that will be a real trip to explore in the coming months. A part of me is hoping that instead of a long evolutionary process, this could even be a case where the same spores can adapt to different platforms and produce a similar if not identical plant, but that is probably a bit too wild even for Pandora. Okay. They would be fucking hiding somewhere. Actually got something that's higher up. Okay, I'll take it. Okay. Resistance memo observing the Cloaked Panther found at Valley View Research Point 1. The Cloaked Panther is a research subject that is as attractive as it is dangerous. It is no Thanator, but for one of us humans it might as well be. The combination of stealth, speed, and of course the gliding capability makes it a predator unlike anything we've ever had on Earth. While most consider the aerial approach to be prudent for observing the species, the turbines clearly stress the animals and affect their behaviour, even from longer distances, skewing any sort of data to the point of being unviable. Thus we will be employing the tried and true tactics of land-based observations, which is to keep our distance and to make ourselves the least appetizing option. With the richness of the fauna here, it should be easy enough to achieve the latter. To the Vekring, which is what the Na'vi call the Cloaked Panther, an arrow deer will always be more of interest than a bunch of strange-smelling aliens with noisy metal machines. If worst comes to worst, there are, of course, direct means of discouragement, but it goes without saying that these will not be deployed unless the situation is life-threatening. We will not get anywhere by acting like the RDA. Very true. Very true indeed. And we have our last area, which is right over there. Resistance memo, stalactites as a climate data archive. Found at Valley View Research Point 3. It might seem a little bit weird to be doing climate research in a cave, but really this is like entering a natural archive with who knows how many years of knowledge just hanging from the ceiling. I'm of course alluding to the stalactites. Sure, that's said differently. Sure, the minerals and processes that are involved here aren't identical to those back on Earth, but that's a part of the discovery. While climate data is what we're eventually aiming for, we'll definitely be making a detour into geological processes and mineral interactions on the way there. It's all good though, working in a renegade band of defectors really makes you embrace cross-disciplinary research and dredge up what little memories you have of a course you took purely for the study credits a decade or two ago. This is going to be a small piece in a much larger puzzle, of course. These stalactites are, to use the scientific term, huge. Pandora and gravity is probably involved here, but considering how dynamic things tend to get, it is amazing they're still up there. Could be a matter of the mineral composition as well. So many theories, looking forward to finding the answers. Alright, well I think we have actually done all the research facilities now, guys. And we got a trophy for doing that. I'm just making sure we're all good. Yep. Okay, perfect. What's on the hunting guide? Banshee's tail. Okay. Feathered Grasslands Thanator. That was a fucking hard battle, to be fair. Heartland's Storm Glider was not an easy one either, really. But we had our own little trick with that one. They're fast on the floor, but they're obviously going to be better in the air. They're like a giant, well they are basically a giant pterodactyl. And how do you beat a pterodactyl? On the ground, usually. Alright. So, if I remember, there was something to look at over here. We've obviously gone to all the research facilities now on the DLC. So I don't know if that counted as the main story as well, or if obviously there's ones missing in the main story that I haven't found. But all I can say is we had given it our best go with the main story. I was gonna die then. Why I took the risk, I don't know, guys, but it's fucking cool when it plays off. Better be something decent. Of course, it's a fucking bell sprig. It's fine. It is where it is. Should have the basket around here as well, so it's not all bad. Basket of gear, where is it gone now? Swear I've just walked past the gear basket. Nope. I'm just... oh, never mind. I was just gonna say I'm hallucinating. Happy days. Alright, finally getting to one of these quests. Tell you what, we're going to do the side quests first. Nice. So, where we need to go? Located next to the River of the Lost in the Ancestral Wilds. River of the Lost. There it is.
Looks like trouble follows the Cometeer.
Natu's dye is full of lumps.
I'm glad to see you are taking part in the great games, Ma'ela. The finest warriors and riders are all here. At last! It has been too long.
I'm glad to be here, like the Sarentu before me.
And there is nobody better among you.
Will you compete as well?
I always thought my first games would be with Zombie.
Are these challenges on Ikran?
No, not these ones. It is just too soon for me. My spirit is not yet ready to soar without her. But next time, you will see nothing but my heels.
I look forward to it.
As a boy, I would ask the Elder Hunters to tell me stories of each challenge over and over, until I knew them all by heart. Head to the cluster of stone pillars and prepare for a treacherous climb with only the wind to catch you.
Ah, so I can't call for my Ikran?
If you do, you will surrender the race. The real trick is never falling. I will meet you at the first challenge.
How about we do that instead? Excuse me. Not using my Ikran, am I?
Looks like... There you are! This challenge is a test of your climbing skills. I seem to remember they needed some work when we met at the rookery.
Don't be so quick to judge, Itu.
You are the one who needs to be quick. Scale these stones following the course to the top, but only the fastest win. And remember, do not call your Ikran. Release the kites along the way to gain extra time.
It is high, but I think I'm ready.
I wish you favorable winds, Ma'elan. Sivako.
Guessing that's not the way. Okay. Didn't know where I was going, to be fair. Where am I going now? Where am I meant to go now? Help if there's some kind of directions, to be honest.
The grasslands are beautiful again.
Gotta try it again. It's not very clear to where you're meant to go.
She is too slow. Focus and rise to the challenge. Looks like trouble.
Directions would be key, bro. I get we need to go to the top, but is there a certain way to get? I'm guessing there is. Right, let's try this one more, well, a few more times. Okay. Gone the wrong way again, haven't I? I think I'm wrong again. Let's see. Again, directions fucking...
Back to cause more trouble. Dance fighting is not...
It's not as easy as it looks, this, guys. I'm not joking with you. You just have to kind of know the route 100%.
Try again, Maela. Ready for the games?
You've got to know the route and you've got to get used to the route. And I've only done it twice. Come on, man. Third time lucky. Okay. Yeah, another thing is you just can't really fuck up.
Fighting is art. I will not hear otherwise. Dance fighting is not the only art. The sky sings today.
Where the fuck am I meant to go, man?
You are always welcome among the Seswa Riders.
That was a climb worthy of a champion. Now on to the next. I will meet you at the canyon beyond the falls. Looks like trouble follows the comet here.
Fuck was the end there all about? Okay.
So may love to... Tastes like me. She was feeling. What took you so long?
Wait, how do you do this every time?
Sadly for you, it is time to test your speed and agility.
That doesn't sound too hard.
This race takes you on a winding path through the canyon. The elders told me of a past Natvi champion so fast she was almost a blur. So, good luck, friend.
Okay. Let's do another race, I guess. I nearly fucked that race up then. Just because it was glitched. Okay, that was much better.
I knew you could do it. See you for the next challenge at the floating mountains above the canyon.
All right.
Come on, Storm. Let's ride. You like it?
The others will see.
Ha!
I thought you would never get here. Ready for your next challenge?
I think so.
You will need your bow for this test. Do not forget, to play with honor, you must not call your Ikran. Instead, you will need a keen eye to hit the targets before time runs out.
Doesn't sound too hard.
That is the spirit. Do not think about the legendary Na'vi archers whose footsteps you follow in. I believe in you, Ma'elan.
The rhythm of hooves galloping in unison. Dire horse riding is art. I will not be otherwise.
Hit 12 targets out of 15. Not bad. Not bad. We'll try it again. I must have missed some targets.
Looks like trouble follows the comet. Too slow. Focus and rise to the challenge.
Okay, that's one. Two. Want to restart the mission.
I've never seen land like that.
I know you can do it. Try again, Ma'ela.
Right, we gotta get this, man.
Looks like trouble follows the comet.
Is not the only
Try again, because I think I've missed. No, I keep doing that, guys, but I think I missed a what's it called?
Too slow. Focus and rise to the challenge.
I think I missed a target.
Pandora is not wrong. The others will see.
That's where the target is.